So at any rate, well, I think one of the things that's kind of tied to all this mass surveillance is what's now starting to happen in Hong Kong. The Hong Kong government has basically announced that they're planning on installing an additional 2,000 security cameras across Hong Kong by the end of this year. Probably a lot more planned after that. And these are also going to use facial recognition. So increasingly, Hong Kong will become part of this surveillance state.
Remember the last protest we went to in Hong Kong in the fall of 2019 was like the anti-mask law protest because people were wearing facial masks when they were protesting to protect their identities. And then the Hong Kong government was making it illegal to wear facial masks in the fall of 2019.
A few months later.
Yeah.
But,
But due to AI and other better technology, masks are no longer sufficient to protect your identity from facial recognition.
I know, they can do like gait recognition.
Yeah,
like
but even just with the eyes, like,
Yeah.
remember during COVID, if you had like Face ID on your iPhone, like it could still unlock it if you're wearing a mask?
Could it? I feel like that's
I
a
never
Not at
used
the
that
beginning, but
technology.
later. Yeah.
I don't use that technology, so I don't know.
You only type in your passcode, which is 1, 2, 3,
No,
4,
Matt, not on
5,
the air.
6. So of course, the Hong Kong police commissioner said citizens do not need to worry about this because it's only going to be used to fight crime.
Oh, good. Oh,
Yeah.
I was worried there. Like, you had me going this whole time, like, oh, gosh, there goes Hong Kong again.
No,
Nope,
it's only going to be used to fight crime.
But,
Good.
you know, the definition of crime is about to become a lot more extensive with the passage of Article 23,
Oh, yeah.
where things that are crimes in the mainland will also be crimes now in Hong Kong.
But, people aren't really worried about Article 23. Like, remember back, 20 years ago when there were these huge protests
Like
over
half a
Article
million
23?
people
Yeah,
on
half
the
a million
street.
people took to the street. And now they're going to pass it again and nobody's protesting. So obviously that means that people are okay with it.
Definitely. And anyone who does protest, they have those nice facial recognition cameras.
They don't even need to send in tanks. They just go to your apartment 2 weeks later.
Pour cyanide in your water.
Oh.
We will now return after these brief messages.
A word from our sponsor. Are you tired of plain old water? Why not spice things up with a little cyanide?
Now I'm thinking,
China Unscripted, sponsored by Cyanide.
now I'm thinking of that Agatha Christie novel, Sparkling Cyanide.
You read books?
This is like us talking to you about James Bond.
Yeah.
It's like Agatha Christie.
Yes. I have never.
Books.
I have also never read the James Bond books though. So.
I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah,
know
they
who
were
he
books.
is. I know who she is. She wrote that whole murder on the train thingy.
No, it was Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein, the novelization. I love the part where they start singing "Putting on the Ritz."
She was ahead of her time.
Well, if you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits?
Where is that, Matt?
Putting on the Ritz.
Oh, those crackers, right?
Yes.
Oh,
boy.
Yes. But hey, at least in China, they're now going to have a lot more McDonald's, right?
Yeah, so they currently have about 5,000 McDonald's. And McDonald's plan is to basically double down by the end of, I think, 2028.
I went to McDonald's right before this podcast and got a double Big Mac, so it has 4 patties instead of 2. Clearly, it's a sign of this doubling down.
I thought the double down was a KFC thing.
Yeah, I had the double down once. It was like a fried chicken sandwich where the instead of buns, it was fried chicken. I forget what was in the middle, probably more meat.
I think it was like cheese and bacon or something.
I almost vomited in the KFC.
Not a good idea.
No, but I usually don't not finish my food, but I had a bite and I was like, oh, I actually really need to throw up right now. And I held it in because I was in Penn Station and in the little KFC there, and it was just I can't do this now. But it was bad. I never went back there.
This is an exaggeration. I need to try a double down.
It could just be, well, I mean,
I don't
first
think
of
they
all,
still have it.
smart because you do not want to have to go to a bathroom in Penn Station.
I know. That was like going through my mind in this like brief moment where I was considering vomiting. Do I do it all over the floor? Do I try to run to a restroom? But sometimes you just have to have the fortitude to hold it in and just like vomit a little in your mouth and then swallow it back down.
And then you double down and finish your sandwich.
I did not actually. I threw it in the trash.
I want to hear from everyone watching who's had a double down. Let me know what you thought. This story seems suspicious to me.
Yeah, I think you know what it was for me, because I like KFC. Like I like the fried chicken.
I know you like meat too.
I do. I like meat, and I also separately like cheese. But sometimes, like a cheeseburger works for me. But like something about the fried chicken with the like really low quality cheese, it's just that I think is what did it to me.
That kind of reminds me of how like Asia in the last 20 to 30 years really started discovering cheese, but sometimes doing it in really weird and off-putting ways.
Didn't we have some weird things in Hong Kong?
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure there was that like breakfast macaroni soup, and you could get cheese on it.
Yeah, I feel like
at McDonald's.
At a McDonald's, it was like a bowl of hot water with macaroni noodles
and sausage that had been like boiled in the soup.
like a slice of cheese.
Yeah,
you could put. I don't think it necessarily had, but there was definitely sausage.
I remember because Alan suggested it, or Alan, our cameraman, and then like Shelly and I were very keen to make you eat that
on camera.
On camera, and you were a trooper, and you ate I think a little bit of it.
This is 2014, younger and more innocent time.
Back when the most dangerous thing for us in Hong Kong was the McDonald's macaroni soup for breakfast.
No, there were some still pretty violent protests that were going on. Remember Mongkok?
Oh, I mean, but come on.
Compared to
5 years. No, I was going to say compared to 5 years later, the Mongkok situation, which seemed very tense and dangerous at the time, was like nothing. Those police officers had like riot shields, but no other gear. They didn't even have full riot shields. Like it wasn't. Nobody got tear gassed. Like honestly, like compared to 5 years
That's
later,
true.
it was. You look back and you're like, oh my gosh, that was.
Things changed so much in 5 years, and now it's been nearly 5 years since those 2019 protests. Even though it's hard to believe that much time has passed.
It's because of the COVID black hole.
Right, and so I would like to say I haven't aged 5 years in those 5 years, but my heart has.
That's why you don't remember the "I'm not touching you."
That's right. Yeah, that happened lifetimes ago.
Yes. Yeah, it's weird that like so many foreign companies are like now terrified of China and trying to get out. It's like very recognized now that the China market is not good.
And McDonald's
is doubling down.
Yeah.
How many are they opening? 10,000?
I think we should just take bets on what
They want to reach 10,000
when we.
Okay.
When the war with China starts and the CCP nationalizes McDonald's, what they're going to name McDonald's, like how Russia did. After.
Yeah, they forced McDonald's essentially to sell to some Russian company that renamed them all, but kept like they swapped out the logos, but they kept like the same restaurants. So it looks like a McDonald's and probably similar menus.
Oh, they're going to steal McDonald's IP. They're going to have the secret sauce.
Is that the Big Mac sauce? What is the McDonald's secret sauce?
Nobody knows. That's why it's a secret, Shelley.
I believe it was revealed in The Simpsons, where it's like, oh, sir, do you want me to leave this mayonnaise out in the sun?
But you still remember Simpsons episodes from the 90s.
I do, but because Simpsons episodes stopped being good after the 90s. So my memories of The Simpsons are all the fond ones for when I watched.
Was it last year that you and I watched that episode of The Simpsons because it was something that came up where like it was censored in Hong Kong because they made some kind of Chinese forced labor
joke? Yeah, there was the one about the pedalon bikes.
It was awful.
It was so bad. I was so I almost died of cringe watching that.
Yeah, it was really, really embarrassing. Actually, I was like, this is really terrible.
And yet good shows get canceled. Like
they need to keep the Simpsons
like Rings
on.
of Power.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. So good, Galadriel.
I didn't watch that either.
She's a girl boss.
So we're talking about Hong Kong, right?
No, we're talking about McDonald's in
Oh,
China.
McDonald's, right.
And then that did lead to McDonald's in Hong Kong.
I miss the taro pie personally.
Oh, fond memories of McDonald's taro pie in Asia.
I mean, it could just be the sleep deprivation talking that we thought it was so good after,
After
being up all
spending the night
night.
in the tents and
Yeah.
stuff, yeah. Oh,
I would just like to point out I had McDonald's before this podcast. That's my excuse. I don't know what your excuse
well,
is.
like you literally ate that for lunch before coming here.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
I did.
What our excuse for what is?
This despicable off the rails.
You know what? I had a protein shake, and my mind is not as in good shape as your mind. So what I really should have done is just had McDonald's.
It's a perfect combination of all the macronutrients one needs to build a human. So I'll share it on the podcast. I was telling Shelley this earlier. It's brilliant. Like some people talk about how a hot dog is a sandwich, right? We're already off the rails. This will be over quick, I swear. Skip ahead 5 minutes.
Right,
to
a hot
whatever
dog is a
knocked out.
sandwich because it's got meat in between bread.
Yeah. Somebody came up with a cube model for identifying what things are. So like if imagine you have a cube and a sandwich, you highlight the top layer, you highlight the bottom layer, that's a sandwich. The bread, you're highlighting where the bread goes. If it's like the side, and underneath, that's a taco, right? It's a taco.
So a hot dog is a taco.
Exactly, a hot dog is a taco. Indisputable. And if you highlight 3 layers, that's a cake, right? Cakes have those layers.
Right.
A Big Mac is a cake.
Wow. So you actually just ate a cake
I
before
ate a
coming
cake
here.
and French fries.
What are the 3? Oh, because the Big Mac has another
That's another
piece
layer,
of
yeah.
bread.
What if it's
I
got
see.
bread all the way around?
But like the 3 layers if that's not cake, it's icing. Is that what you mean?
No. Like you have like a layer of cake, and then there's another layer of cake, and then there might be icing in between. Which in the Big Mac
I don't know
cake,
what kind of fancy cakes you're having that have triple layers.
You don't eat triple layered cakes, Shelley?
I feel like the
I
most
only
often
eat triple layered
cakes
cakes,
you
Shelley.
see are double layered. Okay, this is
Well, don't come to my next birthday party unless you're bringing a triple layered cake.
yeah. I don't know if you want me
I'll
to
bring
make
you a Big
cake
Mac.
for
Happy birthday!
I mean, I like eating at McDonald's, but I'm deeply disappointed in them for being so stupid on China.
I mean, although McDonald's is franchises, right? So.
Yeah, yes, but that.
Oh, but maybe it's not franchises everywhere. Actually,
Well, I don't know if it's franchises in China, but they're basically making a corporate push for this because otherwise you can't say like, oh, our goal is to open another 5,000 restaurants by 2028, and like somehow that's just like, oh, independent franchise owners are deciding to do this, and we just kind of vaguely hope it happens.
There's still a lot of corporate oversight.
Right. I mean, part of McDonald's business model is real estate because you buy the land, and the land they hope goes up in value. Right?
I don't think that's how it happens in China.
Probably not. Well, also the whole real estate thing in China is a disaster. So that's another issue as well. But yeah,
like the consumer price index is like really volatile in China right now. Like, are people in China really going to be craving a Big Mac? What are they going to call a Big Mac in China? Royal Mao with cheese?
Nice Pulp Fiction reference.
I was wondering where you're going to go with that, but okay, sure.